Good morning, good morning. Here we are. I'm up. I don't know what anybody else is. What have we got here today? Sheets of Gambi paper. So you know what we're doing this morning. We've got a baton on hand, a black brush on hand. 3 guesses as to what we're doing this morning. Yes, transfers. This is transfers for loot. I forget what month it is. I have no idea. This is now the beginning, end of June. July's is already printed, of course. August is being printed by Ishikawa-san. So this must be September's, the color blocks for September's print. I've got the key block. It came back from Kawasaki-san yesterday. And this is one. It's going to be 1 key block and 5 color blocks. You'll be using the back of the key block plus both sides of 2 color blocks. So it'll be a 6 impression print. No octopus here this morning. And this image, whatever it's interesting or not, I don't know. I know it's difficult to try and keep a series at the same level all the way through. And I think the first few jokes in the series were kind of good and funny. Some of the later ones I'm not quite sure if they're interesting enough. Okay, what I'm going to do, I've got the key block ready here. I've got a brush. I'll be brushing pigment on it. I'll be taking an impression from each one. Not impression, but I'll be taking 4 impressions from this. There's actually going to be 5 color blocks, but one of the color blocks will be having data that's taken from Jed's Photoshop file, because it doesn't refer to the outlines of the print. But the other 4 colors need data from the outlines. It says no sound. I think we have sound. I'm not quite sure. I'm okay. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Is your computer muted by mistake or? Owls. What are we talking about, owls? I don't see any owls here. Have I made a mistake? There's no owl in this print. Sound okay. Anyway, I'll get to work. Italy, what am I doing here? I need a bit of test paper. We've also got today on a very small bit of show and tell. Some stuff arrived yesterday. The usual source, we got some stuff from Yahoo Auctions that arrived yesterday. So we've got a very small, literally, a very small bit of show and tell yesterday. I just borrowed the black brush from the party room. I don't have any printing gear at my bench here, but this one, it's interesting. Sometimes in this series we use polymer plates. Now we do all the captions in polymer plates, and sometimes there's writing inside the print itself. I think in the second one of the print there was a sign hanging in the background, so we did that with a polymer plate. This time, Kawasaki-san has carved the lettering. So we've got 3 different styles of lettering here, and they're all carved. She's actually carved these in wood, so we've carved the lettering on this one. No film students today. Actually, they are coming today, but they're not coming this morning. They're coming this afternoon. We had a fun experience with them yesterday. Maybe I pushed things a little bit too far with one of them, and for a few minutes he was a bit not upset, but he was worried about what was going on. And I can see this is a bit too shallow. I'm going to need to recarve some of this. Anyway, it'll be okay for the transfers. What happened was yesterday they filmed various bits of it here and there around the workshop. They went upstairs to film the printers. They watched part of another print party. They caught some of the employees yesterday. They didn't do much with me at all during the morning. I was crazy busy. Then in the afternoon, after I finished one of the parties, they corralled me and said, "Can we have a little mini interview?" So they sat me down in the party room, got their camera and stuff ready, and then sat around me in a ring, ready for their little sort of quasi-interview. And it got sticky. What happened was that one of the boys, the boy who had been, tabbed to run this interview, he opened his file and brought out a sheet of paper and put it on the floor between us. And I can see on the sheet a list, and it's number one, number two, number three. He's brought an actual list of questions, numbered questions. And there's no way I'm going to cooperate with that, because I have experience and I know exactly what they're going to be. Number one is, how long have you been in Japan? Or, it's this kind of stuff. And there's no way, without I want to be pretentious, I'm not some super famous dude and I'm not going to spend time and do this. I've learned that no matter what level of people are involved here, whether they're students or professionals, someone coming with a little list of questions they put on the table, there's going to be nothing happening here. They're not going to get any interesting responses from me. They're not going to learn anything they couldn't learn from the website. Just no. So I reached over as politely as I could, say, can I see this for a moment? He of course can't refuse, so I picked it up and looked at it. And then I started chatting sort of to the room. There's a couple of different ways to do interviews. You can treat the person like a static object. You poke him and he replies. You ask him questions and he replies. That's one way to do it. Or second is, you can have a conversation with the person. You maybe start with a question, but then based on what he says, you then have a conversation. You talk about what happens, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. And I paused, and then right in front of all the group, I just tore up the sheet of paper. I crinkled it up into a ball and threw it over his shoulder and said, what we're going to do today is this. I'm not going to sit here and answer your questions. We're going to have a conversation. And if you haven't learned enough about me already, or if you haven't done enough research, if you haven't done your homework to have that conversation, then let's leave right now. You can come back later when you've prepared. Are you ready for this? Can we talk about this work? And they're sort of shocked into silence that I had torn up his carefully prepared list of questions. But the point is there. You don't sit there and poke a person. When were you born? Blah, blah, blah. They can look that stuff up. They're here to talk to me and learn things through conversation and whatever. It turned out okay. After the first shock from those guys that they didn't know what to do because their plan of action had all been spoiled. After that first shock, it came okay. There was 6 or 7 of them there. So one of the other ones got out of his shock first and started talking to me. And it went okay from there on, What am I doing? Hit tonight. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. Next job now. Those of you who have seen this many, many times before know what's happening here. We've got some markers. And it's my job now to fill in color zones. As I said, one of the colors is going to be taken from the Jed's Photoshop information, which I don't have in front of me here, but there's 4 now we can make. Before I do that, let's check and see who's here. Good morning, gang. Where are we here? Whatever the poor kid thought about questions, probably he didn't anyway. Probably the teacher did. It doesn't matter. You can't run an interview like that. You absolutely can't run an interview like this. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't hostile. It was, at the moment I did it, it was hostile, and they're shocked, like, what's going on? I thought this guy was friendly. But I did it in a friendly way, and I talked about it. I told him why I did this. I said, you can't treat a person like this. I'm not some static object that you're coming here to poke in like something in a cage in a zoo. You can relate to me. We can sit as though we were having dinner and drinks, and we can talk about this. Anyway, so it turned out okay. We had a good conversation. It was interrupted a bunch of times by the shop. Ray-chan came from the shop. Dave, help me. We're overwhelmed, because the shop had been overwhelmed for a while in the afternoon. So it did turn out okay. Yeah, that's part of it too. I have more experience than they do at this, so it's okay. In a sense, I'm part of their teacher to this. So, okay, now I need the color information. What I did was I went to Jed's Photoshop file and I took a JPEG here. Let's pop it up. Again, I'm not really excited about the design here. I guess Jed's listening or not. I'm not quite sure if he's here today, but whatever. I think we have some good, strong ones and we have some weaker ones. I think this is just a weaker one, but Jed will disagree. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. Again, as we've mentioned before all the time, the colors you're seeing here, Jed has identified color zones for us. The actual way the colors are going to layer up in real life is not the same way as what you see here. And for a good example, what he's done is you can see the little creature on the right has a sort of a tunic, which is a how do you describe the color? I don't really know how to describe it. It's a very pale maroon. There's sort of two levels of maroon here, a pale maroon and a darker one verging on brown. That creature on the right has a tunic and then his legs. And the way Jed has done this in Photoshop is the maroon tunic is a color on its own, but then to make the overlay, the legs and stuff, he has overlaid. Look at the cape. The monster on the left has a cape. It's sort of a gray tone with various other colors mixed in. It might have a bit of red mixed in with the gray. And then what he's done is the light maroon overlaid with the gray in his Photoshop world creates the darker maroon. And it doesn't happen in real life. It just becomes dirt. It just becomes a dirty color. It doesn't work like this. So we're going to use some of Jed's ideas about color separation, and we're going to print some colors in a different way than what he's specified. We will have an interesting color balance. It will be a more natural woodblocky color balance, but again, it won't match exactly what you see here. He's also done something. You can see the yellow in the background, and then there's on the chest of the larger monster, there's a blue in the background with the green on top. And you might guess how he's done this with a yellow on top of the blue to make the green, and that's not. He's done a green block and a blue block which overlap in this. So there's a blue visible in some places, green visible in some places, and then a greeny blue, a teal, in the middle. The yellow isn't involved in making the blue this time around. And that's interesting. That gives us a lot more flexibility. So our version will probably look similar to this. The yellow will be out there, the green and blue will be similar, but the way the cape color overlays the maroon will be different. I'm going to do the breakdown in the same way, but the colors we put on our boards to make the print might be a little bit different. Yeah, you're going to do a vote on which is the best laugh. I don't know. Whatever. Over to you. Okay, so it's my job now to create these color zones. As I said, the yellow is coming in separately because those star shapes I'll take from Jed's information. So let's just do this. I need, okay, there's one more thing too I should mention that's not going to happen here this morning. There's two blocks for blue and green, and they are actually the same thing. They're the creature's skin tone. Both of the skin tones for both of the creatures. And you can see there, as I said before, blue overlaps for green and it doesn't overlap in some places. I'm not going to do that here today. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to outline for the blue block, which will be the full skin tone border to border. I'm going to outline for the green block, full skin tone border to border. We're going to cut them both that way. Then after they're back, I'm going to trim out areas from the green to expose the blue. I'll trim out areas from the blue to expose the green. Let me get to it. Again, I got the wrong glasses. One pair of glasses for the screen, one pair of glasses for the paper here. So there we are, I have to lean in. Okay, feet. This is blue and green. I absolutely cannot see this. Over on the little guy, his hands and his face without the eyes. That zoomed in a bit too much, maybe if I do it this way. Now what we do is a little small, I can't say trick, what's the word for it, just a technique we use to help with things like this. On this face, we've got to carve the face but not the eyes. But if I leave just the eyes white on this, the carver probably almost certainly won't notice that. So what we do is we use a two-color system here. This is just our own concept. We use a two-color system. This orange means to tell her, cut those away. If I just left it white, it would be easy for her to miss it. This way, with a strong highlighted color, she will certainly see that instruction. Okay, the creature, what's next? But below the skirt and above the leggings. Please don't play any drinking games today. Hands and arms leaving off the skull. Aoi Amundsen and I, last night, we tried to work out now a schedule for the shop downstairs. So for those of you who are going to be watching this, the setup is this. This is, what day is it today? Saturday, eh? Tuesday for us is going to be Tuesday/Wednesday is going to be flooring day for us. The floor is going down Tuesday and Wednesday. I say Tuesday and Wednesday. The plan is to do it Tuesday, but it's probably possible that we won't get it done on Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday is the floor. Thursday will be installation of the browsing bins for the prints. They're at the moment under construction in the back room, almost finished. And after the floor is done, they can come out into the main room. So that will be installation of the browsing bins and then installation of my carving desk, which will go downstairs. That's Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, the tatami are arriving. It'll be the final work in the print party room, the coffee cabinet finishing, the special lighting under the shoji finishing, and the installation of all the shelves under the party bench, stuff like that. That'll be Friday. Saturday and Sunday, Aoi Amundsen can't be here, so I'll potter around down there, but nothing specifically special going on. Then Monday is going to be a giant cleanup day. All the major tools now can go back to Ome, and we take a special run to the garbage dump. So Monday will be the general cleaning up, getting it ready day. And Tuesday, the next day after that, Tuesday the 10th, is moving day. We're closed, of course. Tuesday the 10th is moving day. We're going to call in as much staff as we can to help do it all, get it all downstairs. Some staff will be moving prints, some will be getting the bathroom ready, and some will be working on the cash register counter, setting up all that stuff, the tax forms and everything else. That's Tuesday. And then Wednesday, the 11th of July, we go live. That's it. When we open that morning, we won't be opening the second floor, we'll be opening the ground floor. That's Wednesday the 11th is going to be our opening day. And it's not going to be any kind of a grand opening with a party and balloons and beer and stuff like this. It's a skeletal, quiet opening. Okay, I think that's the blue and the green. As I said, at the moment they're the same. Once she's carved them, we're going to trim part of the blue to expose green. We'll trim part of the green to expose blue. but I don't have that information here without tracing from Jed's Photoshop. And if I just simply use Jed's Photoshop paste out, it wouldn't match all these lines. It's the same thing we had on the octopus print we've just finished. So in order to get on the lines first, we're using a two-stage system. Cut the blocks to the lines, and then on top of that, we're going to use Jed's Photoshop information. Okay, there's the blue and there's the green. What's next? Let's do the pale maroon color. I don't know, is there a good name for it better than that? I don't know. Pattern problem with the floorboards. It's not a problem. How we decided the pattern I showed the other day, I think is what we're going to do. I know it's not really a pattern so much as a way to make it look like there is no pattern. Somebody's answering for me. I'm not sure what. Where were you on 7-Eleven? Everything's 11, isn't it? Here in Japan, there's 3-Eleven. In America, it's 9-11. There, Mokuhankan is establishing a new one, 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, great. We could have picked a better one, couldn't we? All right, what am I doing here? Light maroon. So this is the color that's going under the light and the dark maroons. So this is the neck and the clothing on the little guy, including the neck. I didn't get green. Interesting. Okay. Then, what's happening over on the big guy? There's already a mistake there. That shouldn't have gone on this one. Okay, I know. Somebody's probably going to catch that. Sorry about that. Hi. This is the light maroon and the dark, not the gray. Hi. Okay. What's that little bump behind there? I can't tell. It's also maroon. Inside the mouth. That's it, I think, just inside the mouth. Okay, that's that one. That's the light maroon, and also the areas that will be covered with the darker one on top of it. Got the belt, not the chest, not the neck. And there's something up on top of the horns. What color is that? Gray. Right. Horn tips are gray, aren't they? I can't see it. What color are the horn tips? I can't see it. Are they light maroon? Yeah, maybe they are. Okay, okay, okay. Cuffs. Ah, I'm not sure what to think about it. This is cool. This is very good. Thank you for helping me catch this, but I'm not so sure it's a good idea. It's like the whole world is watching me. Dave, stop, don't do that, don't do that. Horn tips, I gotta draw these. What does it look like? I can't see. There's one little zigzag on each one. Okay, it's too small. It's 4 of them or 5 of them? And stuff like that, she might really easily miss. So we're going to give her a helping hint there. Speaking from personal experience, it's real easy to miss stuff like that. Okay, we'll check again before we paste it down, but that's where we go. Now, next one is the darker areas, which includes the cape. Darker areas include the cuffs, the stars, or whatever they are, diamonds, the whatever they are, the top of this legging thing, his belt, it's a he, I presume, the sword down to the tip, but not including the tip. Oh, no, because this is the gray. So it goes down to the tip. This is the area that includes the tip. And the handle of the sword. This is the dirty gray, the one that's going to be, so the whole sword gets it. And his mouth needs this one too, because his mouth is that double color. That's too bad, because this area of all these small teeth has to be really carefully carved on 2 blocks then. The tips don't get it. And now all of the, not the skin, but all of the cape and the skull is white. Oops. Now, what's happening up top here? The helmet is white. The surrounding here is gray. Top of his head. Mask, whatever it is, a face or a mask. Height. And now the rest of the cape. And what's that under his arm? Yes. Is that open or closed? That little triangle under his arm. What is it? It's blue, and I may have missed that on the blue blocks. Let's go back. Yes, come on guys, get your act together. Under his arm there was blue-green. Maybe you caught it, but I didn't notice. It's quite possible. And over on the small dude, his trousers are the darker color, but not his shoes. His arms are the darker color. And his under the V in his collar is a darker color. I think that might be it, but let's do a pre-flight check. Nipples, there are no nipples here. Jed hasn't put them on here. Oh, I see. What has he done? Ah, I see what he's done. He's put nipples in there, but it's not on any of the blocks. It's not on the key block here. Okay. Okay. There's also a shadow effect too. I didn't see that. It's under the edge of the cape. There's a shadow effect. Let me blow this thing up a little bit so you can see it a bit better. Hang on a sec. Let me try and find it. Let's make this a bit larger for a minute. There's a bit more. There's some shadow effect at the top of the cape on top of his chest. And they're going to obviously be the cape color. I got between the fingers of the hand, I think I got that on both of these blocks. I got that. Yeah, above the ankle at the bottom of those things. Right, no, that's on the key block. Above the ankle on the big guy, that's key block coming through. That's okay, we've got that. So all I need to know, I've got to get those shadows, I think. The shadows under the edge of the cape and under the neck. I think that's all I'm missing. There's a lot of other darker areas that actually are on the key block. The darkness comes from the black. So this is the cape block. We bring it a little bit down. Under the neck here. Under the cape. There's a bit at the left of the neck as well. A very light bit at the left of the neck here. The eyes are white, the teeth are white, top of the helmet, check. Hair, check. Cape, check. Nipples. Dave is going to have to draw them. I don't think I've ever drawn nipples before. First in my life. Are we there? As I said, it's not exactly the same because we've got the blue and the green cutting still to do. But I think that's the block layout. John's just joining in. John, the blue and the green at the moment, they're carved the same, the full to the body lines. Then from the green one, we'll cut part of it away, exposing blue. And from the blue one, we'll cut part of it away, exposing the light green. So the green and the blue are covered, I think. 836, who's this? There's no Cameron today. There's no Ray-chan today. Must be Shikawa-san, coming early, or Sugu-san coming early? It's Sugu-san. Hello, hello, hello. Wow, 早いね。土曜日。大丈夫ですか？その週末の間で。
大丈夫。はい。よいしょ。次のやつか。
そうですね。Gonna come say hello?
ちょっと。やってるんだ。
It's here. So
どこだ？
This is
おはようございます。
It's Susan heading upstairs. It's
早いよ。
Saturday morning, but she's got so much work to do.
すごい。
パック2つあったんですから、どっちか。僕両方出したんです。
あ、すいません、ありが
I
と
don't
うござい
know,
ました。
どっちか。
うん、美の方。
Okay,
でも
じゃあ、
OK
入れてください。
はい、ありがとうございます。
そう
よいしょ。そっかそっか。3人いるんだな。
She's happy today because there's going to be actually 3 printers working upstairs. Because we've got so few printers, there's lots of times when each one is only up there by themselves. And they're girls, and they always say the same thing to me. When it's by myself, it's so lonely, it's so sabihi. They like to work in a group together, you know. The guys don't seem to care, but the girls really like the companionship. And today there's 3 of them. Their schedules happen to combine, and there's 3 of them up there today. All right, I think we are good to go on this. Can anybody see any other mistakes? I don't think so. It's all your fault if I've missed something, right? Just have a last little look over the blue and the green. Eh? It's all the exposed skin. The head, the hands, the feet, the knees, the hands, the arms, the chest, neck, ears, or whatever they are. Jed put them as the skin and around the eyes. Again, later we'll cut back on both of those. So the blue and the green seem okay. These 2 colors overlap as well. It's the light maroon, which is also under the dark maroon, except the shadow tones. Light here, dark over top. Light here, cape. Light here, dark over just part of it. The sword is off the light one, it's on the dark one. It's going to get a grayish tone. Dark. Ah, wait a minute now. What's this? Oh no, it's okay. The skirt is going to be a light color. Okay, fair enough. But with the highlights are dark. The cuffs, the sword, the belt, the area behind it, that little diamond is out. The speech bubbles are on a separate block. The yellow, there's a separate sheet for yellow, which I haven't prepared here because that's going to be information taken from the Photoshop file from Jed. So we're not doing the speech bubbles at the moment. That's a separate block. I'll just print out Jed's Photoshop, but it'll be pasted over top of that. This is not June's subscription. June's subscription was sent 30 days ago. This is, I forget, October or something. July, August, it's September, I think. This is September's print. I need to mark the diamonds on the gray block. I think I've got the diamonds on the gray block right here to show. This is the gray block with the cape, and the diamonds are there. Are we talking about some other kind of diamonds? John, I think I'm okay. You're talking about the diamonds on the skirt. I think I'm there. Let's get some wood. Let's do this. Paste these down. unlike yesterday's disaster, I have wood standing by. Yesterday was a disaster for the ages. It's going to take me a while to dig out of that. Shadows on the bottom of the cape. The shadows on the bottom of the cape are in the key block. There's quite a lot of wide key block carved here. So the shadows there are covered on the key block. Bottom of the leg things be brown. No, they're also on the key block. The bottom of the leg things, these shadows and thicker areas at the bottom of the leggings are also on the key block. It's hard to tell sometimes. The key block widens out in places to give an effect. What happened yesterday? You can tell the story. I had enough about it. So yesterday was not a great day for me, actually. You know, we all have that expression that, you know, one of those days when things seem to go wrong, and that's just sort of confirmation bias because you pick and choose your episodes. But yesterday was a day when totally, absolutely everything went wrong. I know for the first time in the 4 years we've been doing this, nearly 4 years we've been doing these print parties, for the first time I had a fight with a customer, an actual, I mean, I don't mean punching fight, but I actually had a verbal, to do with a customer. It was my fault, I guess. I don't know, I was tired or whatever. I'd had an hassle in the morning, and I should have just shut up. I should have just shut up, but I didn't. I swore at and insulted a customer. And the first time that's ever happened. So we're waiting now today and tomorrow for an inbound terrible review. It might come, we'll see. Okay, I'm going to make a noise here as usual for doing these pasting downs. It's going to be a single tap. If you've got headphones, be careful. A single loud tap. 3, 2, 1, tap. I think to remember back when I was a teenager, if you asked my mother, if she's here today or not, I don't know if she's watching, but if you probably just asked my mother in casual conversation, like, does David lose his temper ever? What's his personality like in that sense? And because she knew me when I was a teenager and stuff, when I was a little kid, she might say, oh yeah, David loses his temper easily, all the time or something. Because I think maybe I did when I was a little kid. You know, immature, whatever, not so stable yet. So maybe I did. I'd get angry at stuff and either shout or sulk or do whatever. But since becoming an adult, you know, a sensible, mature adult, like after having kids and stuff, my own self-image is that I'm not a person who loses his temper. And the staff here might know that I get upset with them or disappointed in them sometimes, but I never shout and scream. I never, ever, 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 ever yell at people. It's just not in my character. My girlfriend, I've known her for whatever, nearly 30 years, and she would say, David just doesn't do that. You can't yell at somebody. Yesterday I did. To a customer. Wow. Okay, Dave, don't get confused. Keep track of what you're doing here. These are all pretty much the same. The blocks here, there's a bit of grain, some are smoother, but there's no major difference between any of them. So we can just go ahead and just put these up randomly. The TripAdvisor is not a lie. Why, has somebody already, has she posted on TripAdvisor already? Whatever, I'll go and check later. I didn't actually yell at the boy. In fact, I didn't speak to the boy himself. I spoke to the staff. The three of us had been, it was me and two of the trainees, Koizumi-kun and Rei-chan, who had been doing the print party together. So I started it off, I did the intro explanation and started off. And it didn't go easily right from the start because it was a family, a mother and two adult kids. And the boy whatever, it's personal stuff. I can't tell stories about people online. It's just no good. I can't do that. But whatever. The boy and I didn't get along. I thought he was impolite. They clearly thought I was impolite. Whatever. You can't tell personal stories about people online, so let's just leave it. I got frustrated because I thought he was discourteous to my staff. And I said to the staff, please just ignore this boy. Take care of the other two in this party, just ignore him. If he doesn't want to cooperate and do this, just let him do what he wants. He can screw around all he wants. And I probably swore, actually. I said something really not so polite. And as I was doing that, I was expecting what would happen was the mother would then jump in and back me up and say to the boy, yes, come on, time to straighten out a little bit. Please do this. We've come all this way to do this. And she didn't. She looked at me and snapped at me. What are you doing talking to my son like that? So at that point, I just left the room. I'm out. The staff took over. Koizumi-san and Dei-chan, they were totally capable of doing this. They did it by themselves, and I just left. I didn't see them again. I went downstairs to do my work downstairs on construction and didn't come up again until after they were gone. And it was my fault, you know. I guess no matter how discourteous a customer is or how discourteous you think he is by your standards, whatever, people are different. I should have just sucked it up, but I was tired. Things had been going wrong. So whatever, if she's going to post a review says I was discourteous to them or overly hostile to them, it's true, I was. I heard the question box there, but you got to give me a minute because I cannot stop what I'm doing right now because it's glue time. So I'll answer your question in a few minutes if I remember. But right now, I'm busy here. I think part of that thing about the customer behavior is I remember an episode, it's got to be 45 years, 50 years ago when I was working at the music store back in Canada. The boss there, he was a real character, real good guy. He took care of us well. He was a difficult person sometimes, but he was a real honest guy. We were doing interesting work. We were bringing good value to the consumers. And because of this, we thought that we sort of could do no wrong. And he had the idea that it's not that the customer is always right. He rejected that. Same as I rejected here for our staff. The customers sometimes are not right. Sometimes they're not nice people. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing. So, whatever. Anyway, I had the experience at the music store one day, and this is like 40 plus years ago. Before I was the manager there, before I was actually in control of the place, I was just an employee there. And a customer was at the back counter of the shop, and he was being abusive to one of the employees. Why is my stuff so late? And I blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I don't remember, of course, the words it was being told, but the customer was angrily shouting at one of the staff members. And another staff member went up to the boss's office and said, look, we need your help at the back. Somebody's being difficult. And the boss came towards the back counter. He came back towards where the customer was. And he heard enough to hear what was going on. And he grabbed the customer by the back of his jacket, gestured to one of us. One of us opened the door, and he physically threw the customer out into the street. And this is super, super dangerous. Like, you're going to get sued up and down, up and down, up and down. And he starts swearing, I never want to see bloop, 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 ever, bloop, 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 in this building ever, ever, ever again. And like the staff's all like sort of stunned about this. Customer is always right, you know. But the point was clear. He defended us. He thought it was more important that his staff be defended against abuse. And I'm with him. I don't think I'd physically throw somebody out. But we got the message. And it wasn't clear. It wasn't that we could do whatever we liked and there was no consequences. The message was that he would back us up and he would be there if something was going on. And I'm trying to do sort of the same thing here. We never have abusive customers. And that's not what happened yesterday. We had this extremely impolite, sassy, impudent, hungover young boy announcing that he was hungover and wasn't going to cooperate. Maybe he was actually announcing it to his mother, but it was announced to us anyway. So it wasn't abusive. Anyway, I'm talking too much. What am I doing? Let's get going here. So there was a review. Okay, well, I'll reply to it. I'll reply to it. I'll apologize for my overreaction to the situation, but whatever. Kid was immature, yeah, whatever. Okay, the definition of the term. But okay, fair enough. What I'll do is I'll wait a day or so before replying, to let myself be completely cool about this, and then I'll reply. I'll apologize for my little snap, if that's what it was. But I'll try and apologize in a way that makes it sound like, whatever. Just leave it. Okay, one more bang coming. We're going to do this 4 times this morning altogether. Here's the second time. Chisel ready. Those of you on headphones, either mute your sound or get them off. 3, 2, 1. Oops. Small second tap there, excuse me. It's funny, that experience yesterday, without wanting to belabor it too much, it bugged me all day, still bugging me now, I didn't sleep so well last night. Not so much the boy bugged me, I mean my reaction, As we get older, it's really common, for people to turn into sort of crabby old people sometimes, I'm not an old person yet, and I hope I'm not a crabby old person yet. But you can sort of see how it can happen bit by bit by bit. If you be less friendly, less open, be more easy to get upset about stuff. As the days go by and months go by and years go by, you could end up being, some crabby old guy. And I really hope I can avoid that. And yesterday's experience is a negative for me. It makes me think, oops, here we go, Dave, you're on the way to doing this, Because we don't notice these things, these changes that happen like this as we get older, So I think that's what was bothering me most. Am I turning into a crabby old man? I don't know. What I guess I'll have to just get in a situation where the people around me will give lots of feedback and be honest and, Dave, be careful, please, don't do that, stuff like that. It's got a bit of hard stuff there. It's a bit hard at the top there, so. Face. Let's do this one. What's this? Questions. Wait, there's something in the question box, isn't there? Soka, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Carvers are supposed to be crabby and reclusive. Okay. Where's the question box? Hang on a sec here. Switch questions. Yes, there's a new question in there. Today, date 44. Have I thought about doing a video for beginners? Kind of a step-by-step guide from carving to printing. Yeah. We have thought about that. I don't want to really link to it myself as a promo, but if you go to our website, I did do a small little... Where's my voice coming back to me? I did do a little book for beginners. It's a semi/book/PDF file/video audio presentation, and it's on our website. If you search for something called Your First Print, it's out there. It's not a free video series on YouTube. It's a very reasonably priced little ebook, and it's got explanation and video and talk and photographs about the process, along with an example print that just uses 2 or 3 colors. So yeah, sort of exactly what you're asking for is out there. A little bit too much glue there. Okay, one more, the third of our 4 bangs today coming up here. Chisel going in place. Ready, held with one hand. Here comes the hammer. 3, 2, 1. One more, one more. Tuk, 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 tuk. What's the time here? We're coming up to, I can't see, 9 o'clock or so. There's no wingman today, no other guests here. Cameron is off for the weekend always. He's really never here Saturday, Sunday. It's sort of settled into a Monday to Friday routine. That wasn't the original plan sort of when we were first sorting out the job. We thought it was going to be more of a floating around in some days, out some days, working a more free schedule. But it seems that just he's sort of a salaryman type. Woman, a wife and a baby at home. They are Christians, they do the weekend Sunday thing. So for him, actually, Monday to Friday has worked out pretty much. This most stable way for his job. So be it. I'm not hostile to that idea, but we didn't think that's the way it was going to work at the beginning. Okay, last hammer tap of the day. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So Cameron won't be here today, and Rei-chan's off today. You know, she's a school kid, and her schedule is up and down all over the place. So there'll be no wingman today here. It's you and me to the end. The staff is going to be Kawai-san and Koizumi-san, the two boys. And we're booked for parties, I think, pretty much solid today. The party reservations have astonished us this month. Back in April and May, we knew what was going to happen, and it happened. We were ready for it, and we did it. It hasn't let up. Our reservation calendar shows now just solid red all the way through the past month we've had, June. And we have 3 parties a day on the website, plus we do more when people request other times, 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And our June calendar, I think there's 4 spots that didn't get booked. It's solid red front to back. And different from last year when there was quite a number of parties with just 1 person or 2 people in it, these ones are 1 or 2 people, then they book out with more people. So we end up with 4 or 5 in almost every party. It's hugely hard work to do. But they have now become we're basically now through April, May, and June, we've been sold out, and I don't know what to happen. Last year, June was light and July was up. This year, is it going to be the same? Because if it is, we're in trouble. We're sort of making a plan B. We're moving downstairs into our new party room next week. And what was going to happen then was we were going to repurpose the current party room for an office for me and a storage for our prints and a little museum reading room. But we are now thinking what we should do is just keep the shape as it is. Don't tear down the party bench. Don't take down all the lights and stuff. Just leave it so that we can use it as a party overflow room. And next spring, run double parties, 1 downstairs and 1 upstairs. Like, assuming I can clone all the staff. So I don't know. It just hasn't stopped. When Kawai-san gets it this morning, he's going to be a little disappointed at me for one thing. There's a project cooking. I guess we can talk a little bit about this. It's not supposed to be super top secret, I think. There's a set of blocks for a Hasui print, a small Hasui print, slightly larger than postcard, double postcard size. A set of blocks was found over in America a while ago, some months back, a couple of years back, I think. It was a basically unknown Hasui print. It must have been made either during the war or in the early pre-war period. It was made and published in a few copies, and then the blocks disappeared, and those blocks resurfaced a while ago over in America. And the blocks are now, we don't own them, but the blocks are now here upstairs in this room. And we are doing some trial printing and test proofing on those blocks to see, 1, if they are usable for making any edition of prints, and 2, what kind of sort of prints can be made from them. And Kawai-san has been doing that work in his evening times over the past couple of weeks. Not every day of the week, but the days that he's here to do print parties and stuff. in the evening he's been going upstairs, getting paper ready and making some trial proofs from these Hasui blocks. And he's really found this interesting. You know, in his own mind, oh my God, it's the first new Hasui print in a generation, which actually is what it is. And he's the guy who's doing the trial printing of it. So he's really, really, really trying and wanting to do a good job on this. And we don't have a good image to go from because this is an unknown print. There's no leftover prints from the old days. All we got is a set of blocks with some colors daubed on them. So he's been having a great time doing different test versions of them, guided a little bit by the guy who owns the blocks, which that part of it we probably can't talk about. Because what's happening is the people who own the blocks are commissioning us to make an edition from them. And these prints will be available, they'll be sold from that dealer over in America. And he'll talk about this topic when he's ready to talk about it. So Kawaii-san's been doing test printing on these things. And of course we can't show it yet because it's not our project. We are just, quote, just, ha ha ha. We are just the printers on it. We're not going to be selling and marketing the prints. But what happened was, what is it today? Today's Saturday. So maybe Wednesday night or something, he got his latest version ready. We've had 2 or 3 versions already done, and he's been getting progressively better and better at this. There's been some feedback from the block owners. And he did his newest version, I think it was Wednesday night, 3 or 4 printings of it. And he set them aside, said, Dave, when you get a minute, take them out, let's scan them, send them over to the block owners, and let's talk about this. And I haven't even opened the freaking folder yet. The blocks, the prints he made on Wednesday are still there. And he's coming in this morning waiting to see, whoa, what do you think, Dave? How are they? Can we get going? What's the word? And I haven't even opened them yet. He's going to be a tad disappointed. Whatever, he knows what's happening. He knows why. He knows what's going on. But that's the first thing. When he comes up the stairs 20 minutes from now, he's going to ping-pong. He's going to come in the room. He's going to say, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? How are the prints? Did I do a good job? You know? And I'm going to have to say, I don't know. I haven't opened them yet. So it's going to be disappointing from him. It's like, he's like, you don't care, whatever. I do care, but now what's next here? I was going to start carving, but I have to realize I'm not the one who carves this. This block set goes to Kawasaki-san for carving. I'm not the carver on this job. I was going to dig in and start carving. So this now goes down to Kobe, to our young carver Kawasaki-san, and she will get busy on this. Okay, what have we got? We got 910 here. I said there was a bit of a show and tell for you. How long are the party blocks kept in use generally? We have no institutional memory on that. We've been open 4 years. The original party block set is still on the bench. It's totally worn out. We need to have a number of block sets in rotation. I can't give you a number, other than to say that the first block set, now over 10,000 copies, blown past 10,000 copies, is still actually functional. People are making beautiful prints with them. So yeah, 10,000 copies is okay. They're worn out, but it's still possible. Okay, I said I had a little bit of show and tell to finish this last 10 minutes, so it's 9:18. I seem to have lost it. It's a small package. Oh yeah, here it is. It's the usual source. I know we get quite a lot of prints these days from Yahoo auctions. People are putting stuff up. They don't really know what it is in many cases. Some people do. Dealers use this system too. But also just anybody uses the system. They find some prints in a drawer in their house. They think they're prints. They put them up on Yahoo auctions. And bingo, away we go. And we bid on them or not. And there was one little group. It was a group of, I think it's 7 or 8 prints. And the guy put him just up. He's just, I forget the Japanese name he put up there. Whatever. Just woodblock prints, random selection, omakase, whatever. Just a group of random prints. Bid what you want. And his starting price was 1,000 yen, which is like $10 these days. And nobody else bid on it. And I had a look at them, and he didn't do very good photographs, but I could see these are not masterpiece woodblock prints. Are they interesting? Yes. Is there something really interesting in there? Yes. So I bid my 1,000 yen for it, got it, and yesterday afternoon they arrived. And some of the prints have been in a dealer's business before, because there's a bit of a price tag on the back here. It says Mokuhan Obara Jo, a woman from Obara. And it's 100 yen. And I have no idea. This looks, I don't know, I'm guessing pre-war. This is perhaps early Showa or Taisho. And what this looks like, it's a print. It's a print that would have been made in the middle of a piece of paper for the purpose of being folded into an envelope once the print was made. There was a tradition of what's called pochibukuro, little pouch envelopes. You know, people when they're giving gifts of money and stuff like that would prepare these little envelopes. And this is a woodblock print, printed in the middle of a sheet of paper, which probably would have been made into an envelope later on. And now it's just one random sheet left over. It's stained, it's soiled, but it is a nice, nice little charming woodblock print back from an era long past. And a couple of interesting points about it. It's cleanly and nicely carved. This is not great art, it's just a nice, pleasant little image, but it's printed with a couple of interesting touches. They've used atenashi bokashi. They've just put a bit of gradation in the middle of things that didn't really need it, just to give a little bit of extra touch and taste. You see the gradation? The mountain is created with just by carving a flat block for the thing and just running the tiniest, tiniest scrap of pigment at the top of it, and bingo, you have a mountain. So nice, so nice. And there's 8 of them here, and I paid $10, so we're looking at $1.50. I think I'm happy with this little addition to my collection. This won't be in the shop. We're going to keep it in our little collection. What else do we have here? Let's just go through them one by one here. This is nowhere near the quality of that one. It's pasted down. I have to take it off the backing board later on. Yeah, it's glued to a temporary backing board. It's a mask, a festival mask. Nothing dramatic about it. Very easy to print. But again, they've just gone to some extra touches. You know, you can see the gradations. There's a touch of gradation here and there everywhere. Look at this around the nose. Just always these little extra touches they put on that bring the thing to life so much more. If we were trying to make this from scratch now, it would cost us so much to do this. And they must have made them in the thousands and thousands and thousands. I have no idea. Was it a tourist thing, or was it a part of a collection of larger prints? I don't know. This one was maybe thrown away from the group because there's a huge piece of bark. There's a bit of bark from the paper in there. So my guess is what we've got here is some stuff left over from a printer's workshop. Maybe that one wasn't considered saleable, so it was tossed aside years ago. All the others are now gone, and bingo, this one comes up. What's next? That's the back side. This is the front side. This is an image typical of maybe an era. There were a bunch of wars. There was the Russian-Japanese war. There was the war in the 30s with China, whatever. I don't have any idea how old this is. It's clearly pre-war. It could be as far back as the Russian-Japanese war, I don't know. And it's just, there you are, a young Japanese person showing her patriotism by waving the flag. And it was the original, it was the naval flag, you know, the one with the rising sun things. And it was done with real tan, a vermilion type pigment, which oxidizes like crazy. So what you see is sort of dark smears on a flag here would have been a brilliant, the orange. And this is nice too, look at this, the gradation on top of the yellow. This underneath her obi also was tan, the same color. It's a kind of a vermilion, her skin tone too. So it looks like she's got a suntan now. It would have been something much cleaner before it all oxidized. Yeah, a bit of bark, so magnificent piece. What's next? No idea what the derivation of this one is. It's got an artist's name and a seal, so it was perhaps part of some series with an actual artistic approach, whatever. It's just a little scenery somewhere. Again, look at this little touch of gradation in the back behind that village to bring out the shadows. No idea what the derivation. Super thin paper. How many colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 impressions. We couldn't do this for less than like $30 or $40, and it was just a small toss-off. This one, this has been it's been pasted onto a postcard. This is actual thick postcard for actually putting in the mailbox. So my guess is this was a print that was first made. You can see it at the edge here. It's pasted onto a postcard. And my guess, I'm not quite sure, they were sold. The idea that people would write the address on, the postage stamp, and a little message at the bottom, and bang, out they went. Nice little touches. A little child, I guess it's a doll, I believe. I don't think this is supposed to represent an actual child. I think it's a doll, a folk toy of some kind. And very nicely made. So delicately carved. My God, I can't even see this. What is it? His eyebrows. Put my glasses on here. Look at this. There's pupils on the eyes. I don't know how close we can get. Something so small and trivial, and yet made with such super quality. This is an opaque pigment too, which makes me think maybe these were made in Kyoto, some of these. Little fingernails even on this thing, you know. Impossible. You just can't do stuff like this anymore. What's next? Oh yeah, classic. This is classic Kyoto souvenir prints. These are made still by the millions down in Kyoto. There are workshops who just make this kind of stuff all day long. Pictures of Maiko facing away from me so you can see their long obi with Kiyomizu Temple or whatever in the background. There have been 10 bajillion of these prints made over the years. There's no artist name, it doesn't matter. It's just total hack work. It's cute. It's tourist schlock, but it's cute. And these guys have done this one carefully. There's delicate carvings all over it. There's metallic pigments. You can see it. Sometimes they shine here over on the obi. And every tourist ever who came to Kyoto back in the old days, in the pre-war days and in the immediate post-war days, every tourist ever would buy a bunch of these. They were so cheap. This one is so nicely made. Look at the rich black on her geta. Many of these prints were terribly made, but this one is beautiful, beautifully made. And again, we have the same thing. We have the same tan, the vermilion, which has oxidized. The railing here would have been more of an actual red color. You know, the red that we see on shrines and on temples and stuff like that. This fence and the newel post on this bridge would have originally been that kind of a red, but it's oxidized totally. And it's now just a dirty rusty color. And then last, this one is fun. This is a picture of, you know, our old friend, the Hindu, I guess it came from Hindu through China, the Dharma image. And this one, it's going to be hard to show you this. It's printed on paper that is way thinner than that Gampi paper I use for doing my transfers. It's heavily sized, so it comes up as quickly crackly. And it's so thin, and it's printed, I don't know how many times. How many gradations are there on this print? I can't even tell you. They're Atenashi gradations. Look, under his cheek, for example, under his chin, there's no block that's carved for that. Just with a tiny little brush, they rub some. Oh, here's Kawai-san. And the calligraphy, I'm going to need my microscope to tell you how small this is. Where's my finger for comparison? There's my finger. The calligraphy, there's like 16 characters fit in the space of my finger or something. It's tiny, and they had no microscopes. And the curious thing about this is there's a mark. This is not on the paper. This is carved in, and it's some kind of designer's emblem. And I got to say, is this an owl? Is that supposed to represent an owl? It looks to me like it is. A bit of a chubby body there with those ears up on top. And I have no idea what this is, or the provenance, or the designer, whatever. The calligraphy is a bit archaic, and it's too small actually for me to read. We'll get it under the microscope later. An owl or a cat or a bear, you tell me. No idea. I like to think this is an owl, but I have no idea. A gummy bear, nay. So. And the paper, oh my God, the staff looked at this yesterday and they're all like half in tears. We'll never be able to make prints like this. How are we going to do this? You know, the key block carving is so sharp. Me, like this was the first impression ever made from the blocks. It's so ridiculously sharp. He's got eyeballs in the middle and there's a tint of color underneath his eyes. He's not got just black pupils. There's pupils inside the pupils. I can't get close enough. Can you see before it goes out of focus? Anyway, there we are. Downward pointing fish. Yeah, possible. Yeah, that's one way of thinking about it. If you look at it sideways, it starts to look like a fish. As I said, the fins on the top and the bottom are the same, so I don't think it's a fish. Anyway, there we go. That's yesterday's haul from Yahoo Auctions. I don't think these are going to be appearing in our shop. Kawai-san, good morning, good morning. Have a look at this. 昨日 Yahoo Auction から簡単な小さなもの届いたんですから、これ見てください。この紙の薄さとか。綺麗でしょ？紙薄いでしょ？考えられない。木版でしょ？オマは金属かな？ I don't know. どう思う？この細かい文字でしょ？
水星の方。
水水っぽいでしょ？そう。ほったものかな？
いつの時代？ 明治
random まあ明治か大正か昭和の初め頃このグループ戦前しか言えないですね。
この普通の
で全然でみんな違う種類違う形これだけがちょっとそんなに綺麗にできたんですね。あと何ポチ袋の元とか京都でしょ、不透明絵の具とか京都のマイコ
これか
オークションに出した人は東京ですが maybe it looks like they're from 京都でしょ。So. Okay, we'll wrap this up here. Thank you. Did you say hello? You did, right? So. Okay, we're off. We're out of here. Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday. I'm not really sure what I'll be doing tomorrow, you know. I don't actually have a job scheduled right now. The block thing for the octopus, I can't do that overnight. We're going to have to order some plywood for the middle of the block, so it'll be days and days and days before I get the blocks ready for the octopus to continue. And really now I've got to get downstairs. Now, so I'm not sure about tomorrow and Monday. If there's actually going to be a stream or not. I don't have easy work to stream for you. Let me think about this. A couple of things. Maybe there will be a holiday tomorrow, no stream, perhaps. Maybe I'll have a job that will come up for me to do that they will say that I can do on stream. Maybe I'll take the camera downstairs or something. I've got to finish the cabinet for the coffee machine. I've got to make a set of sliding tambour doors for the coffee machine cabinet. Maybe, no promises. Maybe I'll put the camera downstairs, just set it up to look at the room, and I'll just get busy working while you guys can chat among yourselves or something. I don't know. The next week is going to be really scrambled. For those of you who just joined, we've got our schedule worked out now. Tuesday the 3rd is going to be floor laying day. After that, the cabinets go in, the tatami goes in, we clean everything up out to Ome with the junk, a rental car day. Tuesday the 10th is the projected day for moving. It's going to be all hands on deck. We're going to move downstairs Tuesday the 10th, and then opening will be the 11th of July. Very quiet opening, no balloons, no beer, no nothing, just we'll open the door and that day's business will be happening downstairs instead of upstairs. So that's the schedule. Someone's asking about the octopus block color carving. It was supposed to start today. Maybe some other people can tell this gentleman what happened. Okay, I gotta get going. I'm out of here. Kawai-san and I are on party duty this morning and I gotta get into there. Thank you very much for watching. It's been not so bad this morning. Actually, we've learned some stuff and you saw some real printmaking process. It wasn't just talk. Thanks again. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not real sure. As I said, it's going to be mixed up. See you soon. Either way. Thanks again. Treasures, nay. Treasures.